greatest learning experience is something I will never forget. It was early June of 2005. I was going into 6th grade and starting summer band at Sunnyside Middle School. Little 11-year-old me was incredibly nervous that day. All I knew about trumpets was that they had 3 buttons, which I soon found out to be called valves, and that they sounded super cool. I can remember trekking through Sunnyside with nervous knots in my stomach, trying to find my assigned room. I was so nervous to start playing. I didn't have the slightest idea how to play. Would I be really bad? What if I'm the world's worst trumpet player? When I located my room, I was greeted by a friendly man who turned out to be the trumpet expert for our local area and one of my most inspirational teachers I have ever had the pleasure of studying with. He handed me my very first trumpet, and I took a seat with the other students. As we sat there waiting for the instructor to start, we were all opening our cases and looking at the shiny metal thing we would shortly be attempting to play. It's one thing to listen to someone play trumpet, but to play it yourself is a whole other ballpark. When given the chance to play for the very first time, we weren't given much instruction as to how to properly play, and that may have been one of the most atrocious sounds I have ever made. However, I did not let that discourage me, because I knew that I may sound horrible now, but with proper instruction and practice, I had the potential to one day make beautiful music. My teacher then began the process of teaching us the fundamentals of playing trumpet. He used this sort of textbook instruction on how to set our embouchure, and then he used his experience as a player to teach us even more. Then he did a little bit of showing off to give us a taste of what a trumpet could really sound like. Holy smokes! I was in awe. Hearing what a trumpet sounded like with tons of practice motivated me to want to someday sound like that too. There was no way I'd be able to learn it all that day, but that experience was enough to kickstart my desire to keep learning and practicing. It was different than just being in a classroom and being taught that 2 plus 2 equals 4 and that a sentence has a subject and a verb. What made this experience so great was that I learned by listening to the instructions, watching my teacher demonstrate, and then attempting to imitate what he showed us. It was hands-on learning at its finest. I had a phenomenal teacher that had such a brilliant way of delivering information in a way that was easily understood. Seeing as how I've been in school since I was 5 years old, I have had many learning experiences. Out of the countless experiences I've had, I will never forget being taught to play trumpet. As a learner, I usually prefer being taught with text and taking notes. However, the hands-on experience of playing trumpet is something that could never be replaced. I had a remarkable teacher, which I am sure was a contributing factor to what made this learning experience so incredible for me. He remains, to this day, one of the greatest and most inspirational teachers and people I have ever been blessed with knowing.